anytime. You can ask any questions that you like, and I can provide in the recording as well. Today, I will send you the recording related to the lesson that we did yesterday as well. So, my dear students, today we are going to start from chapter number 2. If you can remember, in chapter number 1, we discussed about Jagan's character, what kind of characteristics are possessed by him, what kind of money-minded person he is, and the connection between Jagan and Jagan's best friend, Kazim. Right? We saw the connection between Jagan and Kazim, and sometimes we saw that Kazim tries to understand Jagan's behavior. It is very difficult to understand Jagan's behavior because he is having dual characteristics. He is having dual characteristics. We discussed about that. What do you mean by dual characteristics? What he said is not actually done by him. Now, he said that he is kind of a person who reads Bhagavad Gita, and he is a person who is following Mahatma Gandhi's theory. He is a vegetarian. But on the other hand, he is a money-minded person. He never wants to do any kind of charity or else any meritorious deeds, right? He never pays income tax, right? Sometimes he never enters whatever the business, done by him after 6 o'clock. That money will be not entered to the ledger books. Likewise, we can see some kind of negative characteristics of Jagannath as well. Now, we understood all the positive characteristics are there. As I have told you, there are some negative characteristics. Now, however, now we are moving to chapter number 2 to discuss about Jagan's family life, and a new character will be introduced to us, that is Jagan's son Mali, right? They are the most important characters that we have to pay our attention, Jagan and Mali. Mali is actually Jagan's son, right? So we are going to discuss about him as well. If you take the book, 80% of the book is about Jagannath's character, and the other 20% will be about Mali and whatever the decisions actually taken by Mali, and Grace and other minor characters will be also contributed when it comes to the novel. Right. Okay. So we will start the discussion. And while my discussion is going on, you guys can write down. I will start my explanation. Please go through the recordings. I have sent you all the recordings related to the second chapter. I have read the entire paragraph, and I have actually entire chapter, and I have marked all the difficult words. I have explained that. If you did not go through that, please make sure to go through that. Then only you will get substantial idea about the entire chapter. So today we are going to do the summary of the second chapter. Chapter 2 starts with a fine background description of the place where this imaginary town Malgudi was situated. Now, my dear students, this entire novel is written by R.K. Narayan. Not only this novel, if you take the other novels by R.K. Narayan, all the incidents are based on an imaginary town called Malgudi. Malgudi, right? If you refer to the TV series, right? The TV series, the name of the TV series is known as Malgudi Days. If you go to YouTube, you can watch the TV series as well, right? The name of the TV series is Malgudi Days, right? Swami and Friends, the English teacher, vendor of sweets, all these things, all these actions are happening in a kind of an imaginary place called Malgudi, right? If you go to India, in real life, you won't find a place called Malgudi. You have Kolkata, you have Bombay and other places. But in real life, you won't find a place called Malgudi. There was no place like that actually, but everything happens in this imaginary village called Malgudi. So that is something very important that our students should understand, right? Narayan shows how people in the village suffocated from financial problems, right? So this is one of the clear indications. If you pay your attention towards the novel, what you can realize here is that whatever the financial problems, right? Whatever the poverty, whatever the pathetic conditions actually people had at that time period was clearly shown by R.K. Narayan in this book, right? So what we can say here is that R.K. Narayan as a writer is not biased, right? So the real condition, the real life condition, or the real social conditions of the Indian society is clearly depicted by R.K. Narayan. So you have to pay your attention here. The poverty of the people is actually clearly indicated when it comes to chapter number 2. He resembled different types of plates that people used to eat their food in the village, right? Each and every person did not possess a plate, right? So you can clearly understand they did not have money to even to buy a plate, right? To eat food, right? He resembled different types of plates that people used to eat their food in the village. While Jagan was walking along the road, he saw how vehicles are passing and how people behave in the streets in order to win their daily struggle of hunger. So people did not have a lot of ambitions, my dear students. Nowadays, we have a lot of ambitions. We We want to complete our education. We want to climb up the social ladder. We have a lot of ambitions in our lives. But when it comes to that time period, people had only one problem, that is hunger. They all suffocated from hunger. It was very difficult for them to find food. So most of the people, they engaged in a job or any kind of occupation in order to conquer their hunger, right? So that can be identified as one of the major problems. I don't know whether you have seen movies like Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know whether you have seen movies like PK. If you have watched those Bollywood movies, you will clearly understand the real condition of Indian society. Even though Indians are known as one of the developed countries in the world when it comes to Asian continent, on the other hand, we can see some dilapidated situation when it comes to the life condition of people, right? Life condition of people, when it comes to the cost of living, it is very high. And we have to understand that India is the second largest populated country in the world. So as a result of that, most of the people actually suffocated from hunger and a lot of other problems as well. So these problems are clearly depicted by R.K. Narayan when it comes to Ender of Sweets. So please make sure to pay that attention. That attention is something that you have to pay here, because then only you can understand the story. When you are referring to a story, you have to get some kind of background description, background understanding about the setting of the story. What do you mean by setting of the story? The economical, social, political condition of that time period. That is what we call setting of the story, right? So when you are studying a short story, or else a novel, or else a poem, make sure to pay the attention for the setting. That setting is something very much important. Without having any idea about the setting, it will be very difficult for you to understand the story, right? If you have a very good idea about the setting of the story, it will be very easy for you to understand the situation of the story and situation of the poem and the poet and the novelist and everything, right? So we will move on. People have different types of plates to eat. Some are made from silver, aluminium, and some people walk miles to collect banana leaves to use as their plates. So you can imagine that some people had silver plates, some people had aluminium plates, some people didn't have any plates. They used banana leaves as their plates. So by referring to the different types of plates, R.K. Narayan tries to explain us the problem of poverty, the social condition, right? People try to climb up the social ladder, right? If you take India as a country, we can see number of ethnic groups, and they have a lot of ethnic conflicts. Even though we are living in the 21st century, still they have the problem of ethnic conflict, right? They have the ethnic conflict. They don't recognize some ethnic groups in their societies, right? So these things are taken into consideration when it comes to this novel, my dear students. So please make sure to pay your attention. In this particular chapter, we are going to discuss about the problem of poverty. People walk miles to collect banana leaves to use as their plates. He heard a beggar is pleading for a handful of rice. So beggars, they did not ask for money. Now, if you come to countries like Sri Lanka and other countries, most of the beggars, they are asking for money because they can buy whatever they want. But these beggars, they did not ask for money. They asked for food. It is a very good, clear indication that what kind of problem, what kind of major social problem that they suffocated from. The major problem that they had is that they didn't have enough nutrition. They didn't have enough food to eat. That was the major problem that they faced, right? So you have to pay your attention to these things, my dear students. Jagan thought this type of people are disgrace to the nation because he never believed in begging. So this concept, this mindset was actually given to him by Mahatma Gandhi. Don't forget that, right? Mahatma Gandhi's influence can be seen in this entire novel because Jagannath is representing Mahatma Gandhi's influence. When Mahatma Gandhi influenced the idea of closed economy, right, where he never liked the open economy, what he said was closed economy, self-sufficiency theory, where he said that if you need rice, if you need vegetables, fruits, or any other needs and wants, you have to make them by yourselves. That is what we call self-sufficiency. Jagan is one of the foremost people who followed this tradition. If you can remember, he used to spin his own clothes. He used to create his own clothes. He used to create his own food. So we can clearly understand Jagan is following. He's kind of a die-hard fan of Mahatma Gandhi. So he was following all the social norms and cultural conditions laid down by Mahatma Gandhi. So that is why we say he can be taken as the incarnation or rebirth of Mahatma Gandhi. But having said that, my dear students, I have to tell you, there are certain loopholes as well. there are certain weaknesses as well. Mahatma Gandhi has never said to not to pay income tax. Mahatma Gandhi has never said that you have to fry whatever the sweets that left over in your shop, you can sell them the next day. Mahatma Gandhi has never said that you should cheat the income tax people. Mahatma Gandhi has not said that. But Jagan is practicing those things. Jagan is actually practicing those things. So we can see dual characteristics of Jagan. දෙබිඩි චරිතයක් රඟපාන බව පේනවා. එක පැත්තකින් මහත්මා ගාන්ධිට ආදරෙයි, භගවත් ගීතාව කියවනවා, මස් කන්නේ නැහැ, නිර්මාංශිකයි. අනිත් පැත්තෙන් බදු ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ, සල්ලි යටිමඩි ගහ ගන්නවා, සල්ලි හංගනවා, මිනිස්සුන්ට හරියට පඩි ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ. So you can see that dual characteristics can be seen. So this is something very important because in the examination there can be a question for you, right? Vendor of Sweets by R.K. Narayan can be identified as a novel which clearly shows us the dual characteristics of Jagannath. Comment on this statement with relevant examples. There can be questions like that. So please make sure to pay your attention. Right, we will move on. I hope you guys can understand. If I am too fast, please make sure to send me a message. Jagan thought that this type of people are disgrace to the nation because he never believed in begging. Gandhi has taught him self-sufficiency theory. Gandhi has taught him self-sufficiency theory. What do you mean by self-sufficiency? Swayam artikaya. ස්වයංම තමන්ට අවශ්‍ය දේවල් තමන්ම සකසා ගන්නවා. You are going to grow whatever the things that you need, right? You are going to spun whatever the clothes that you need. So you are not going to beg from other countries. Now the same situation happened to Sri Lanka in this economic crisis. What we can see is that Sri Lanka is actually begging from each and every country, please help us. The problem is that we didn't have a self-sufficient economy. Self-sufficiency theory is not practiced by us. As a result of that, most of the people who live in the country face the repercussions of the particular incident. So you can see that the self-sufficiency theory was not there, and most of the repercussions were actually faced by innocent general public. He was so upset. He was so upset that people in the village are not following the tradition. So people who lived in the village, they did not follow the proper tradition. So as a result of that, he was really upset about that. But Jagannath, as a person, he followed the same tradition, same theory. So hurry up and write down, pass me a message after completing. We will go to the next part. Hurry up. Right. If you have any questions up to now, please ask. I am asking individually. Sandunita ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? Sanduni. අපේ හංසිට තේරුණාද මෙතන වෙච්ච දේ? මොහොමඩ් ඩාකිෆ්, you can ask questions. සුවනිට තේරුණාද? සංකේප්මිට තේරුණාද? සඳුනි, හිමන්සා. අනේ කතා කරන්න ඕනේ පුතේ. You have to talk and you have to send me a message. Right. Very good. Now what we are going to study here is that when we are going to study a novel, then ඔබ සාහිත්‍යයේදී නව කතාවක් හෝ කෙටි කතාවක් හෝ ඉගෙන ගද්දී චරිත විතරක් ගැන ඉගෙනගෙන හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කතාව ලියන්න පසුබිම් වෙච්ච සමාජයක් තියෙනවා. මොන සමාජෙද මේක ලියවෙන්නේ? මේක ලියවෙන්නේ 21 වෙනි සතවර්ෂයේද, ඉංග්‍රීසි යුගයේද, දෙමළ යුගයේද, හින්දු යුග මොන යුගයේද මේක ලියවෙන්නේ? එතකොට මේ දේවල් ඔබ දැනගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ රටේ හිටපු මිනිස්සු මොන වගේද? දුප්පත්ද, පෝසත්ද, කෝටිපතියෝද, මොන වගේ ජීවිතද ගත කරේ? So that is what we call setting of the story. අපි ඕකට කියනවා ලිටරචර් වල කතාවේ setting එක. මේක රෂියාවලද වෙන්නේ, මේක ඉන්දියාවේද වෙන්නේ, මේක ඉංග්ලන්ඩ් වලද වෙන්නේ. right? එතකොට මේක වෙන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ. දැන් අපිට තියෙනවා සොනාලි දරණියකලගේ ස්ටෝරි එක තියෙනවා අපිට මොකද්ද? මේ wave by සොනාලි දරණියකල. tsunami, the story of tsunami. එතකොට ඒක ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වෙන්නේ. The language is very similar to Sri Lankan Sinhala language. So we use that. Then අපි මේක when it comes to this particular novel, this is written in India. එතකොට අපිට තියෙනවා මේකේ හින්දු what do you call මොනවාද මේ Hindi words තියෙනවානේ, paise, right? Paise, and we have a lot of different words, right? Halwa, and then we have mithai wala, ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අපි මේ කැවිලිකාරයා, ඒ වගේ වචන මේකේ තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි ඒව දැනගන්න ඕනේ. Right? We have to know them because we are learning a novel which is actually written in the Indian culture, Indian tradition, Mahatma Gandhi's influence, modern influence, Bollywood movies, right? So these things you have to pay your attention. ඒවත් එක්ක තමයි පුතේ මේවා ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. නිකන් දැන් අපි නවල් එකක් ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට එහෙම බෑ. අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේකේ setting එක මොන වගේද කියලා. As students we have to pay our attention to the setting of the story as well. Okay, my dear students, I will move on to the next part. I hope you guys have completed the note. Right. So here I hope you guys can see this. Hansilata පේනවද? Can you see the screen?
Can see, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Buddha. Right. Thank you, Buddha. Right. Very good. Now we will move on to the second part. I will read and I will explain. Right. Jagan has written a book about Indian natural remedies for illnesses, and the printer Nataraj has an excuse every single day when Jagan asks about the final print. Now, this is something very important. The intervention of another character can be seen. The character's name can be known as Nataraj. His name is Nataraj. He is a printer. He is running a print shop. So Jagan has written a book, right, about Indian natural remedies and Indian medicine related to different types of illnesses. So whenever Jagan is asking about the final print, so Jagan has given this book like long time ago. Try to understand that he has given this book long time ago. Long time ago he has given this book, right? So but Nataraj has not done the finishing. The finishing part has not done by him because we don't know the reason. Sometimes he may be thinking that just like the other people, this book will be something useless. This book will be something useless where we don't need this type of book to survive. That may be his idea, that he may be having that idea. So even if I print this book, what will happen? Nobody will buy this. So at the end of the day, right, what will happen? I have to keep these books. Sometimes he may have that idea. We don't know, right? I'm just assuming that he may be having that idea. I don't know. So however, when Jagan is asking that question, Nataraj is giving the same answer. I have not printed that. And I have to mention, my dear students, even Mali has given some leaflets to be printed. Within one day, the job was done. Within one day, the job was done. So there we can see some kind of conflict, right? What we can understand here is that we can see some kind of a conflict where when Jagan is bringing some kind of document or something, Nataraj is not ready to print. On the other hand, when Mali is giving some kind of a job, he will do that without having any hesitation. So here we can see some kind of a conflict. So from that, what we can understand is that even Nataraj did not have any faith about Jagan's traditional beliefs. Even Nataraj as a printer, he did not have any thought. He did not have any idea about these Jagan's documents, whatever the documents is going to be printed. So because of that reason, whenever Jagan asked about the final print, Nataraj gave the same answer. When Jagan was walking along the street, he notices his son Mali. Now, in chapter number 2, one of the most important characters are actually introduced to us. The character is Mali, right? The character is Mali. Mali can be identified as Jagan's son, right? Jagan's and Ambika's son, the one and only son of Jagan. Very important character. We are going to learn about this character, right? So please make sure to pay your attention. Mali is waiting near the statue and having a chat with his friends. He did not notice his father. So he was chatting, he was having a chatting with set of friends. He did not notice his father. So his father noticed him. Jagan felt very happy about his son. At the same time, he felt pity about him because he was raised without his mother's love and affection. Now, this is something very important. At the same time, Jagan felt some kind of happiness about the son because now he is a grown up. He's a man now, right? He's not a child. He's a man now, and he's having chat with his set of friends with a lot of as a person who has got a lot of intelligence, right? As a wise person. So he was really happy about that. At the same time, he was a little bit upset because he raised his son without having mother's love, mother's affection. So this actually affected Mali in a terrible manner. In a terrible manner. We have to accept that because later we will understand in this novel, Mali and Ambika, they had a very strong relationship. Son and mother, they had a very strong relationship. Actually, Mali did not pay any attention towards his father because almost all the connections he had were there with his mother. Soon after mother died, right, Mali was completely upset. Mali was completely upset. You will get to know about the reason, right? We will discuss the reason as well. So Ambika's death actually created a lot of problems between father and son. Ambika's death created a number of problems between father and son. We will get to know about that when we read the novel, right? Jagan has given much freedom to his son because of this reason, right? So, however, his mother is also not there. So, as a result of that, Jagan did not want to provide him very hostile surrounding, right? Or else in religious background, rather. He has actually provided all the freedom, entire freedom is actually given to the son. He enjoyed his life. So, as a result of that, later we can realize he becomes a corrupted boy. And at the end of the day, he used to threaten his father in order to take money. So we can see a corrupted boy as a result of Jagan's unlimited freedom and the usage of money, and whatever the amount of money actually Jagan gave to him actually provided or else actually resulted in some kind of a negative behavior when it comes to Mali's character. We will discuss about that later as well. Too much of freedom actually corrupted his life. We will discuss about that as well. He never bothered to find about his actions and association. That is something very important. As a father, he has given him unlimited freedom. As a result of that, what happened? He did not bother to find about the actions and the associations related to him and his, friends, right? So as a father, you should not do like that, right? As a mother, as a father, you should be very careful with the association of your whatever the associations that your son or daughter is having, because based on that association only at the end of the day, the boy or girl will come to conclusions and take decisions. So as parents, you cannot escape from that kind of responsibility, right? You don't have that right to escape. But unfortunately, Jagan thought that that is the best method to raise him, because when it comes to a certain age, we cannot punish them, right? We can only advise them. Now your parents can punish you, but you won't get that, right? You won't get that. You can do the same mistake again and again without being noticed. You can do that, right? You have different types of imaginative ideas. You can do that. But if your parents talk to you politely, you will understand the situation and you will definitely obey them. So same thing happens here, but unfortunately, Mali is not that type of a child. On the other hand, Mali lost his mother at a very young age. As a result of that, he did not have anyone to explain or else to share whatever the experiences, whatever the suffer, whatever the pain that he undergoes in his life. So this is something very important again that we have to pay our attention. Later in the novel, we can see this unlimited freedom results in a very negative manner for both parties. As I have explained to you, this unlimited freedom actually resulted in a very negative manner for the both parties. Both parties suffocated from that, right? So unlimited freedom is used by Mali. Without informing his father, he went to America by stealing his father's money. He came from America with a half Korean, half American girl called Grace, and he introduced that girl to his father saying that they are married. Without informing his father, he married. But later we realized that they are not married, they are living together. So likewise, number of other problems occurred because of this unlimited freedom. So we have been given a moral message as well, my dear students. When you refer to the novel, what we can see here is that a very powerful moral message is also present. What is the moral message? when it comes to parents, you should be very much vigilant and very much responsible when it comes to your children, right? If you give too much of freedom, too much of money, definitely they will be corrupted. Definitely they will be corrupted. That is what happens. The same thing happened to Jagan. The same thing happened to Jagan's son. That is what we can understand here. So the first time in the novel, in chapter number 2, one of the most important characters are introduced to us. That is Mali's character. We will discuss about that in the next slide. So if you have finished, you can pass me a message. Shall we move on to the next slide? Did you write the explanation? While my explanation is going on, please make sure to write down. No extra time will be given, right? So you can listen to my explanation and you can write down. All right, okay. Please tell me, yeah. මේ ඔයගලන්ට ලියන්න වෙනම වෙලාවක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම තොදොල් වෙන්න බෑ. හරි. එහෙම තොදොල් වෙන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ. මේ එහෙම කරන්න බෑ පුතේ. right? මේ යන ගමන්ම explanation එක ලියන්න ඕන ටක් ගාලා. මෙතන දැන් වැටෙනවනේ ඔක්කොම. මේ වැටෙන එක තමයි මම explain කරන්නේ. හරිද? මේක දැන් අපි කතා කරලා ඉවරයි. ඔයගොල්ලෝ recording බලන්න recording දාලා තියෙන්නේ හැම ළමයෙක්ට. හරිද? chapter number 2 එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අමාරු වචනත් එක්ක මුළු chapter එකම කතා කරලා ඉවරයි. ඒ chapter එකේ මේ note එක ලියන්න. ඒ chapter එකට අදාළ විස්තර. දැන් ඔබ පාඩම් කරද්දී ඔබ ගාව මේ විස්තරය තියෙන්න ඕන. ඔබ දැනගන්න ඕනේ හරියටම chapter number 2 වල මොකද වුනේ? මේ කතාව කොහොමද ගලාගෙන ගියේ? අලුත් චරිත කවුද ආවේ? What are the new characters? What happened in the story? දැන් ඔබ මේව දැනගන්න ඕන. right? ඊට වඩා උදව් කරන්න බෑ. right? ඉස්කෝලේ මෙහෙම කියලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉස්කෝලේ ඔයගලන්ට කතාව කියලා දෙනවා එච්චරයි. Now you have red color quotations, so please make sure to write down them in a different color or make sure to highlight them. Right. Following quotation from chapter number 2 is an example for Jagan's ultimate unconditional love as a father. Right. This is something very important when it comes to your parents, not like the others. It can be your boyfriend, girlfriend, or cousins, or other people. They may love you. There is no doubt about that. Even your husband, even your wife, they will love you. But we cannot expect some kind of unconditional love. What do you mean by unconditional love? Unconditional love refers to the love will be not conditioned under any circumstances. Love will not be conditioned under any circumstances. This is what we call unconditional love. We must not forget the same love and affection also affects Mali in a negative manner, which makes him a careless, irresponsible son. Right? Unconditional love. So this is something that you have to be familiar with. Jagan as a father had unconditional love towards his son. Whatever the mistakes done by the son, he did not take them into consideration. He ignored it, right? So he always gave chances to his son. He thought that he is the one and only son. He lost his mother's affection. So as a result of that, I should provide whatever the things that he likes, whatever the things that he needs in his life, I should provide. That was the ultimate motive, actually, we can see from Jagan's character. But my dear students, at the end of the day, what happened? The repercussions were actually faced by Jagannath himself. Right? At the end of the day, Mali became a drunkard. Mali became an alcoholic, right? So the responsibility relies with Jagan. We cannot say that Mali is 100% responsible for that. Some part of the responsibility should be taken by Jagannath as well. Because Jagan pampered him, Jagan did not provide proper advices. As a result of that, what happened, my dear students? Mali became a corrupted boy. We will understand that. So this red color quotation is something very much important that you have to pay your attention. Please write that in a different color pen, or else you can highlight that. Poor boy, let him be. He was very proud of his son's height, weight, and growth. So Jagan was really happy. Jagan was really proud about his son. So this quotation clearly shows you what kind of unconditional love possessed by Jagannath towards his son. Right? Unconditional love, right? Whatever the problems actually occurred between Jagannath and Mali, we can clearly understand that Jagan actually behaved as a matured man. Jagan never wanted to have any conflict with his son. As a result of that, he always tried to use Kazim as a what do you call mediator, as an arbitrator, in order to discuss whatever the problems actually going to occur between Jagannath and Mali. He did not even talk to his son because he was under the impression that, okay, if I talk to my son, he will be disheartened, right? He will be upset. So as a result of that, he never wanted to talk to his son as well. So this created actually a communication gap. This communication gap was actually constructed because of Jagan's behavior, right? Communication gap between father and son. Chapter number 2 gives us about a detailed description about Jagan's ancestral house, where he and his only son live together, right? So they are living in his ancestral house. Ancestral refers to the house belonged to his father, Jagan's father. This house was inherited by Jagan from his father. He furthermore explains how hard he worked himself, adding more infrastructure for the development of the house. His house was like a shrine for him, right? So this is very important. He treated his house like a puja room, like a shrine, like a temple, very sacred place, right? But later we can realize the sacred place was completely polluted and neglected by Mali by marrying, by living together with a half Korean, half American girl. In chapter number 12, chapter number 13, we will discuss about that. So we can clearly understand in chapter number 2, we saw that the poverty and the condition of people when it comes to Malgudi town and the entire Indian society. We met the new character, one of the most important characters, that is Mali. Mali's arrival can be seen in chapter number 2. And we saw what kind of love possessed by Jagan as a father, what kind of unconditional love is actually possessed by him. All these things we discussed here in chapter number 2, right? And we discussed about the shop, right? In chapter number 1. In chapter number 2, we discussed about the ancestral house that was actually inherited for him by his father, and he was living there with his son, right? And we discussed about the condition, the pathetic condition of Mali, because his mother died at a very early age. As a result of that, what kind of love and what kind of freedom is actually provided by Jagannath as a father. As a result of that, how it affected Mali's life in a negative manner. All these things we have discussed. So if you have finished, you can pass me a message, hurry up and write down. If you have any problem, you can ask, right? Hurry up and write down. I will keep this. If you have finished, please pass me a message. Hurry up. Please pass me a message if you have finished. Hurry up. Right. So shall we move on? If you have any problems, you can ask. Yes, Nikesh, and I will give the recording. I will give the recording today. I will send you the other recording as well, because yesterday we couldn't complete the class. You will get that recording as well. Right. So it will take some time to complete the recording. So I will definitely give the recordings. Don't get upset about that. Classes will be conducted, but I don't have to mention about the current situation of the country. Due to the economic crisis, we are facing all the repercussions. So problems can occur, but whatever said and done, I have not raised the class fees as well. Right. So please try to understand. I will not do that. As much as possible, I try to keep the class fees in the same amount. I am not going to raise the class fees. The only request I have is that please make sure to come to the class, participate for your sessions, and complete your academic work. Because at the end of the day, these problems will be solved. Then you cannot write for the paper that I did not go to classes, my teacher did not come to school, I did not have petrol. You can't write those things when it comes to your paper. So please make sure to participate for the classes, complete your academic work. At the end of the day, on time, your exams will be there. So you have to write your exams. You can't give whatever the excuses now you are going to give at that time period. That is not going to happen. That is not going to happen, right? So please make sure to pay your attention. Right, okay, so we are moving to chapter number 2. We are still in chapter number 2. There are a lot of things that you have to write. You have to pay your attention. So please make sure to write down the quotations. These quotations are very much important in a different color pen. Jagan and Mali had enough space in the house and they lived in separate rooms, right? So it clearly shows us the communication gap between father and son. Even though they lived in the same house, they did not talk with each other. They did not like to talk with each other. The main problem is that Ambika's death. We will discuss about that because Ambika was suffocating from a brain tumor, a brain cancer. So Jagan did not allow her to take whatever the Western medicine prescribed to her, because Jagan always believed in traditional medicine. As a result of that, Jagan never allowed her to take Western medicine. At the end of the day, Ambika died without any proper medication. So the doctors said that if Ambika was provided proper medicine, she could have been saved. But this was also understood by little Mali. The little Mali actually heard this dialogue between Jagannath and the doctor. He actually heard that dialogue because the doctor said that, okay, if you provided all these Western medicine, there was a chance, but unfortunately you did not do that. From that day onwards, Mali was thinking that Jagan is partly responsible for Ambika's death. As a son, Mali is thinking that Jagan is responsible for Ambika's death because my father did not allow her to take proper medicine. As a result of that, my mother died. So my father is indirectly responsible. That is what he says, right? My father is indirectly responsible. From that day onwards, they had a lot of communication gaps. That invisible barrier actually took place from that day onwards. They had very less amount of conversations between them. Jagan as a son, always Jagan as a father, right? Not here, Jagan, it should be Mali. Yeah, I will cut that. I will mark that. Please, there is a printing mistake. A typo is there where. No, that is correct. Jagan as a son always believed the traditional agricultural remedies of his father. Yeah, exactly. Jagan as a son. Furthermore, he believed in natural remedies, especially when it comes to health issues. So we know that Jagan's character, the entire character is made based on this traditional quality. Then Jagannath කියන චරිතය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ආර්.කේ. නාරායන හදලා තියෙන්නේ මේ සම්ප්‍රදාය, සංස්කෘතිය, ඉන්දියානු සමාජය, ආර්.කේ. මේ මහත්මා ගාන්ධිගේ සමාජ ස්ථාවරභාවයත් එක්ක තනිකරම එයා නිරූපණය කරන්නේ ඒ අර සාම්ප්‍රදායික ඉන්දියා. ජගන් කියන්නේ සාම්ප්‍රදායික කැරක්ටර් එකක්. ඒතර එයා විශ්වාස කරන්නේ සාම්ප්‍රදායික වෙද බෙහෙත් ක්‍රම, නවීන පන්නේට එයා හැඩ ගැහෙන්න කැමති නෑ. එයා වෙනම එක්කෙනෙක්. ඒ දේවල් එක්ක තමයි එයාගේ ජීවිතේ ගොඩ නැගෙන්නේ. ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා අපේ දරුවෝ, right? Jagan as a son always believed that traditional agricultural remedies of his father. Furthermore, he believed in natural remedies, especially when it comes to health issues. He always used Margosa sticks. Margosa කියන්නේ කොහොඹ වලට. He always used Margosa sticks to brush his teeth because he believed toothbrushes are made from pig's tails. Right? Very important, very powerful quotation which clearly can be used when it comes to the one of the major themes of the book, traditional and modern culture. The conflict of this quotation is very much important. So please make sure to write that and please make sure to by heart this quotation. This quotation will be very much important to you, right? So Jagan always believed that toothbrushes are made from pig's tail. So you can see what kind of traditional beliefs that he had, right? What kind of traditional idea that he had. That is something very important, right? He always used Margosa sticks to brush his teeth because he believed toothbrushes are made from pig's tails. This is a fundamental weakness that we can observe in Jagan's character, right? Fundamental weakness, right? The entire novel, we can see this weakness where he always believed, he did not believe certain things when it comes to the modern societies. He had some kind of alternative or option, right? He had some kind of alternative. He did not want to bother about the other people. He was, when it comes to his decision, he did not want to change the decision either. Now here later he got to know that toothbrushes are not made from pig's tails, they are made from nylon. He actually accepted that. That was the truth. But yet he was not ready to accept that. පස්සේ එයා තේරුම් ගන්නවා මේවා මේ නයිලෝන් වලින් හදන්නේ මේ දත් බුරුසු කියලා. හැබැයි එයා ඒත් එකක වෙන්නේ නැහැ මේක පිළිගන්න. He was not ready to accept. He said that no. Even though they are made from nylon, I am not going to accept that because they are not good for the enamel, right? They are not good for the enamel. So as a result of that, I am not going to believe that. This is fundamental weakness that we can observe in Jagan's character. Following quotation from chapter number 2 is a fabulous example for the theme of traditionalism, and it depicts us how stupid Jagan is as a traditional follower. Jagan's stupidity can be clearly shown here, and it is a very good example for one of the major themes of the novel, the conflict between traditional culture and the modern culture. One of the best examples that we can find out, right? Traditional culture and the modern culture. He was opposed to the use of toothbrush. The bristles are made from the hair from the pig's tail. It is unthinkable that anyone should bite a pig's tail as the first thing in the morning. So this is what we call the traditional belief, right? Based on this traditional belief only, almost everything happened. I hope you guys can understand, right? Based on that only, most of the problems occurred. So we can clearly understand what kind of person is Jagan and what kind of mentality is actually possessed by him. So I hope that you guys can understand these things. And in chapter number 2, we can clearly realize some kind of stupid beliefs, or else Jagan's traditional thoughts are clearly revealed by the writer, quite clearly revealed by the writer. So this is something very important that even you have to pay your attention very carefully, right? So in certain places, certain quotations are very important. Through those quotations, you can clearly realize what kind of mindset is actually possessed by Jagannath when it comes to these traditional things. So we can even understand as students what kind of foolish thoughts are they, right? What kind of foolish thoughts are they? So as a result of that, how people suffocated, and most importantly, how Jagan himself suffocated from them, right? So those are the most important things. So hurry up and write down. We will move to the next part. Right, we will move on from there. I hope that you guys can understand. If you have any questions, you can ask. Suwani, are you okay about this? Dinut, Hansani, Harida, Nikesan, Sanduni, Suwani, Vinara.
Yes, I can understand.
Vinara, are you okay with this? Vinara, can you manage?
How to?
Can you understand? Right, please go through the recordings. Right, I have sent you all the recordings. Please go through with that and get the idea. Today we are, after each and every chapter, we are going through this kind of summary, right? After completing each and every chapter, the summary will be there. So you have to go through with the summary. Summary will be very much important for you to understand the entire story, what happens. And in the summary, we will discuss what are the quotations that you have to pay your attention, right? Those things we will discuss. Right, okay. We will move on to the next part. Right, still we are in chapter number 2. Even after the advent of the nylon bristles, as I have told you, later he realized that these toothbrushes are not made from pig's tails, but they were made from nylon bristles. Jagan never changed his view. That is something important. Even after knowing that, Jagan was not ready to change his view. Try to understand here what happens, right? Then පස්සේ දැනගන්නවනේ නෑ මේවා මේ ඌරන්ගේ කෙඳි වලින් නෙමෙයි හදන්නේ මේවා හදන්නේ මේ නයිලෝන් වලින් කියලා එයා දැනගන්න. දැනගත්තයන් පස්සෙත් එයා මේක වෙනස් කරන්නේ. He is not ready to change his view. So you can understand what kind of stubborn behavior and belief is actually possessed by him. I hope you can realize that. Maintaining that nylon had an adverse effect on the enamel. He said that even you have made this from nylon, what will happen? It has some kind of adverse effect. Some kind of adverse effect will be there. So I am not going to use that. I am not going to use that. Furthermore, he believed by chewing bitter leaves of margosa trees, margosa tree is destroying all the germs in the mouth. This is what he believes. So we can clearly understand what kind of mindset, what kind of traditional, stupid mindset is actually possessed by him, right? Very much traditional, very much orthodox, and we can say very traditional, right? Very traditional, and so much religious mindset that he had. So he used to do that. On the other hand, his wife Ambika was completely opposite to these ideas, and she suffocated heavily from her headache, right? So Ambika was not ready to accept that. Ambika was totally against the ideas actually possessed by Jagan, so she was not ready to accept whatever the ideas actually possessed by Jagannath. So she was actually totally against those ideas, right? She was totally against. She never liked that, and she never enjoyed that, right? And as I have said that Ambika was having a brain tumor, a brain cancer, right? She used to take aspirin as painkillers in order to reduce the pain, but Jagan did not like that. Jagan did not like that. Jagan did not allow her to take all these Western medicine. As a result of that, what happened? As I have told you, she died. Mali was a small boy at that time. He knew where his mother hid all the medicine, right? He knew that where his mother hid all the medicine. So he knew that, but he never told his father because he knew that his father will definitely throw them away. Ambika knew that Jagan did not like her habit. Whenever she is so busy with the work, Mali helped her by providing her medicine. This created so many family problems. To quote from the text, we will go to there. First and foremost, we will write down. So as I have explained to you, a lot of family problems occurred because of this conflict between traditional and modern culture. Number of problems occurred. Can you understand? Jagan always believed that whatever the sickness, you have to use all these traditional medicine. On the other hand, Ambika was not ready for that. Ambika was saying that no, sometimes traditional medicines won't work. Sometimes I need painkillers, Panadol, aspirin, and something like that. So Mali was a small boy at that time period. He always supported his mother. Soon after he came back from school, he did not go to play cricket with his friends. In the book, it is actually depicted by R.K. Narayan. Mali was a different type of a boy, right? Different type of a boy where he did not go to play with his friends. All the other children, they got together and they played cricket. But Mali was not like that. Mali was there inside his house, providing all the treatments for his mother. So with that, we can see what kind of bond, what kind of strong bond is actually created between Jagannath and between Mali and Ambika, right? Mali and Ambika, right? Which means that son and mother, right? A strong bond between son and mother. That attachment, that attention was not given, not provided when it comes to, when we refer to the character of Jagannath, right? The same love we didn't see, the same responsibility we didn't see when it comes to them. When it comes to father and son, we did not see the same category, right? Furthermore, he believed by chewing bitter leaves of margosa trees, destroying all the germs in the mouth. All the traditional beliefs are there, but however, a lot of problems occurred between Jagannath and Ambika because of his traditional beliefs. Because of his traditional beliefs, that is something very much important that you have to pay your attention, right? So if you have finished, we will move on to the next part. Please pass me a message and make sure to write down the quotations in a different color pen. That is something very much important that you have to pay your attention. Please write down them in a different color pen. It will be very much important for you then, right? So please write down. Send me a message after writing. Hurry up. Right. Okay. I hope that you guys have completed. Right. We will move on to the next part. Right. Okay. So we discussed a lot. We discussed about the stupidity presented in Jagannath's character, and that is because of the beliefs that he had when it comes to society and when it comes to the traditions, different types of traditions that he believed. Right. So as a result of that, we saw him as a different kind of a character. So this is one of the important quotations again in red color, which I have given here, where we can realize that a lot of problems actually occurred between Jagannath and his wife related to this traditional beliefs, right? His wife refused to associate herself with any of health-giving activities. She hated her theories and lived her own life, right? She hated her theories and lived her own life. Their first clash occurred when he forbade her to swallow aspirin and suggested that she should fry a little margosa flower in ghee and swallow it for relief from headache. Right. So that was the first problem that they had. They are.
Sir,
Yes.
the first one isn't a quote from the book, no, sir?
Yeah, this is a quote from the book. We have taken the quote where all the red color ones are quoted, Puta.
Ah, okay. Sir.
All the red color ones are quoted things. All the black color ones are not quoted. That is actually explanations. All the red color ones are quoted, right? So theories and lived her own life. The first clash occurred when he forbade her to swallow aspirin and suggested that she should fry a little margosa flower in ghee and swallow it for relief from headache. Boy, do you know where your mother keeps her headache pills? I know, but she will not let me to touch them. Boy, don't go near them. They are poison. So this is the mindset actually provided by Jagannath to his son. So Jagan said that whatever the medicine actually taken by your mother, you should not drink them. They are poison. So that was the mindset. That was the mindset actually created by Jagannath. So as a result of that, Mali really thought that his father is actually trying to provide proper medicine to his mother. But later he realized after having the conversation with the doctor, Mali realized that his father never wanted to give that proper medicine in order to take out her mother from danger, right? Mali showed the place where his mother kept all her medicine because he believed in Jagan. This incident presented us as a flashback. In the book, this entire incident is presented to us as a flashback. That is what we can realize. So you can see a lot of problems actually occurred between Jagannath and Ambika due to these traditional beliefs, right? And later we can see that a lot of problems occurred between Jagannath and Mali. That is also based on this kind of foolish beliefs related to Jagan's traditional ideas, right? Traditional ideas. So one of the major themes that we can realize when it comes to the story is that the conflict between traditional culture and the modern culture, right? The conflict, right? The traditional culture is represented by Jagannath and the modern culture is represented by Mali. So this conflict is actually taken into consideration. That is what we can see, right? So hurry up and complete that. We will move to the next part. I think, yeah, we are in chapter number 3, right? So we did not discuss chapter number 3. So we will wind up the session for today. I will send you the recording as well. Please make sure to take the recording. It will be there most probably tomorrow morning, the recording of Lumber Room, the 5th recording. After watching this record, after going through these recordings, please complete your notes, because at the end of the day, all the recordings are provided to you in order to get the notes, in order to understand the notes. So you will get the textbook. Now, textbook recording I have already sent. This is actually the summary. These are the basic things that you have to remember in chapter number 2. Now we have finished 2 chapters, right? Now we have finished 2 chapters, right? So you can participate for the class. Even if you can't participate for the class, we can send you the recording. So please go through that. Please go through that. So you can complete the class on this day. So Wednesday, you won't have the class. Each and every day you have the class on this day. Wednesday, 9 o'clock, you don't have the novel class. Novel class will be shifted for today. If you can't participate, you will be given the recording. So you can go through the recording, because most of the time, most of the students, they can't grab the lesson at once. That is why we provide the recording. So go through the recording. If you have any problems, please make sure to send me a WhatsApp message. Recordings can be a little bit delayed because of the electricity problem. Sometimes we can't conduct the classes. Yesterday also same thing happened because of the electricity problem. But whatever things happen, definitely I will provide you the recording and the lesson. So your academic work will not be work will not be interrupted. And I can assure with that, I'm not going to raise the class fees or anything like that during these circumstances. Even we have problems, but nevertheless, you can continue your academic work without having any hindrance. Thank you so much. We will meet next week. If you have finished writing, you can leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So I have finished writing. Thank you, sir.